Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV TV podcast for Vampire Diaries, Season 6, Episode 6, The More You Ignore Me, the Closer I Get. I'm your host, Dom. With me is my co-host, Heather.
Hey.
Who has finally returned.
For my, 3-week break.
From your 3-week break, because...
Was it 3 weeks?
It was about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And, Omikins is unfortunately under the weather and is sitting out this week, so...
We're
lose
plopping.
one, gain one. Yeah, you guys are alternating or something, I don't know.
We got this under. Don't worry.
So, I know you did a lot of catch-up because...
I did.
You were very busy during your 3-week break and pretty much
I was.
sat down and watched them all in one episode, one
I
sitting.
did.
Yeah.
4-hour large chunk of Vampire Diaries.
So please forgive Heather if she starts bleeding episodes into each other, because to her it was one 4-hour episode.
Yeah, it was literally, I don't even think I took breaks in between each one. It was literally back to back to back.
That's the best way to watch them.
It is, because they all mesh together so well.
It's not the best way to do a podcast, but it's definitely the best way to watch them.
I got a pretty good grasp of what on this episode. I mean, it was pretty distinguished out of the others.
Right. So last week we left off, the final scene was between Stefan and Damon. You know, Damon's like, I'm back, and Stefan's like, okay, you're actually here.
Yeah, I thought he was dead, seeing ghosts, I'm not drunk enough for this.
Yeah. But then, you know, they're sitting down and they're talking this episode, and they're realizing, you know, they can't exactly say what happened with Bonnie.
Right.
Oh, but why? Why did Damon decide to lie about that?
Maybe he still has hope that, he didn't see Bonnie die.
Right.
You saw Bonnie got shot in the stomach with a crossbow. Was that a crossbow?
It's pretty much. It's a wooden harpoon, in my opinion.
It shot something.
Yeah.
Okay. We never got a confirmative from the show saying she was dead or alive.
And in my experience with not just this show, but any show as of late,
right,
if you don't see them die,
they're
not dead.
Right. Because you didn't see either her or whatever the annoying ass guy's name. I can't remember his name ever. The annoying shit that was with them over there. You didn't see either one of them die.
Oh, Kai.
Yeah.
Malachi.
You didn't see either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
They both were kind of just left off, Bonnie was talking like she was gonna die, but we don't know.
Yeah. It could have been, like you said, to kind of save this false hope for
right,
everybody, or for
right,
Damon to take blame that he didn't need, because he didn't tell Bonnie to do that. Bonnie took it upon herself to send
right,
him back without her.
And I'm sure he feels plenty guilty already without acknowledging the fact that she might be dead.
I mean, he sat there and called Bonnie's voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's definitely feeling guilty.
Yeah, they got much closer on their little adventure.
Yeah.
Than they were before.
Yeah, a lot closer. It is, and even Jeremy's like, Bonnie hated you. Why are you calling her? And Jeremy is Bonnie's boyfriend, so he's feeling it. It's taking a toll on him. He still had this hope. He had desperate hope, but he still had hope.
Right.
And at this point, Damon's just straight up lying to him. He's like, I don't know, Bonnie wasn't there. She found her peace. She's gone. And now I think Jeremy's really feeling hopeless.
Yeah. Jeremy definitely had a bit of a meltdown this episode.
Yeah, so I think Damon went about it wrong. I think creating a false hope for, I call it a false hope, but, we kind of are under the impression Bonnie's going to come back. But for the characters, if you're in their situation, it's kind of a false hope.
I would much rather hear that somebody is dead and have them come back then hear that there's still a possibility they're alive and find out later they're
Well,
dead.
he doesn't even know she's dead. He knows she's injured. That's as
Right.
much as he knows. He didn't even see her collapse at the end there.
Right.
So,
I mean, he definitely went about it the wrong way, but this is also Damon.
yeah. But then not only is Damon dealing with the struggle with Bonnie, but he's
Mm.
dealing with Elena too. Like
They were
she's
very fast to warn him.
yeah, he didn't even get out of the crypt that, he was hanging out in with Stefan. And he's just like, yeah, Elena took it really bad and had Alara compel her to forget that they were ever together.
Right.
And Damon is
And
not happy about this.
he's not, but my God, he's trying.
He's got some restraint.
He's doing really well. He really is.
This is
Like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, this is not the Damon that we knew from season 1, when he
No.
just like ran around and started snapping necks.
No, he's being very cautious with how he approaches this problem.
hmm Yeah, and I mean, he even sits down and talks to Alaric, and he's like, "Yeah, uncompel Elena, like return her memories, do it."
Honestly, I was expecting him to beat the shit out of Alaric right there.
That's what season 1 Damon would have done.
I was expecting that bottle to fly at his head. I was expecting maybe a neck snap somewhere. I was not expecting Damon to just be like, okay, I'll remember this and walk out.
I mean, even though Alaric at that point couldn't technically be killed,
Hmm.
Damon couldn't have done any damage to him.
Right,
He could have snapped his neck. He could have put a wooden stake through his heart, and it wouldn't have killed him.
right,
Because Alaric is an original,
right.
or Alaric was an
an
original.
I'm so sad, but I'm so happy for Alaric.
This whole oh my god, like this whole story arc with Alaric is like the craziest thing ever, because
It is.
we see Alaric come into season 1. He's like a school teacher slash vampire hunter. He's got this like
Hmm.
Buffy kind of feel going on. He's like this beloved character for like another 2.5 seasons, and then he
Yeah.
just goes and dies. I mean, he even played Klaus at one point. Klaus inhabited his body, and he was Klaus
Wow.
for
Yeah,
a good
that's
portion
right.
of the season. And he's had this whole crazy range of actor, like acting ability to be able to play for this character. And then he goes and dies, and the actual Matt Davis, the actual actor, went off and did another show, and he came back, and he kept doing like little guest spots from the other side, like just sitting and watching Damon drink alcohol, or some
Right.
little things, like that. And now we finally ripped him back from the other side. He's an original vampire again. And he's struggling with that. We're dealing with that, and now
Yes.
he's human again.
He is. He got what he wanted. The one thing he never thought he would ever be able to be again.
Yeah,
He's been given a second chance, and and the whole thing with Elena at the end, where she was just happy he was okay, and he was apologizing to her, and she said no, and I'm not going to ask you to change back to uncompel me either.
right.
He really, his character alone has met every single spectrum that could possibly be met on this show.
Yeah. See, now this whole magical barrier is really like there's so much possibility and there's so much stuff that they could do with it that it's kind of bothering me, right?
Yeah.
Alaric, we see now, like Alaric, I forget how he died, but he had looked like some puncture to his heart, something like that. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly how he died. But
Well, from what I was seeing, I think it was Stefan. When Stefan crossed the border,
mhm.
he started to bleed.
Right, he was shot. His father shot him. So
Was he?
whatever previously, however they died, is how they are being repeated. So Stefan
Yeah,
and
it's like-
Damon were both shot by their father. So when they cross over, they're dealing with having to be shot all over again. I believe Alaric was staked or something. He had something penetrate his heart, if I remember correctly, how he
And that's
died.
what it looked like. It looks like whenever they cross, that whatever killed them and made them what they are,
Mhm.
or whatever killed
Right.
them before they became what they are, is resurfacing, and it's stripping away the magic from them, the vampirism, the werewolf, whatever. And
So-
it's essentially just putting them back to the way they were.
Right, except Alaric now would have died from those injuries. And now
Mhm.
we're seeing with Joe there, she's able
Who's
to
a witch.
revive him. Yeah. She's a witch, but she's in the town, which means that she's operating without any magic.
Right.
right?
Which I really like that. I'm interested to see where that's gonna
I
go.
mean, she's not always in the town. She works with in the hospital and Alaric school, which Alaric and Elena both attend. But she was in the town border when that happened, so she was not using her magical
Right.
powers.
Right. Like she has free range to go in and out somehow.
Yeah. Um, but it was just kind of shocking to me that she was able to revive Alaric and now he's human again. But see,
Hmm.
then that brings me to like Elena, right? Elena drowned. We know that's how she died. That drowning is one of the easiest deaths to reverse.
Hmm.
With CPR and different methods to drain water out of lungs and stuff like that. Knowing that
Right.
that's how she drowned, they can go in there even more prepared to deal with that.
Right.
And
And switch her back.
right now, not only would she be human again if that's something she wanted to be, but all the compulsion would wear off. She'd have all her
Hmm.
memories of Damon and everything back again. Like she would remember
Maybe
everything.
that's what she'll do.
It very well could be.
Maybe
But
that's what she'll do. I mean, I really like how they finally portrayed what would happen if you cross that border and not
right,
just cross it and then run away.
right.
And they've got some, as you said, they could do a lot with
I
this.
mean, I was under the impression that they crossed over, they died, and that was it. That was the end of it. They're
Right,
dead. But
right. But Joe
yeah,
has proven that's not the case. And Alaric even said, you can't use magic in here. And she looked at him and said, I don't need magic.
right. Yep.
She's a nurse. She's a doctor. That's what she does.
She is. I'm very sad to see Rick as a vampire go because I think that kind of struggle
Yeah.
that he had was really good. But
I'm curious, is he going to go back to a vampire hunter, though?
I think he will.
You think he will?
I think he will. He's got his friends, Mystic Falls. I don't think he's gonna, start attacking like Elena and whatnot. But
Oh, no, I don't see that happening.
I believe he's gonna still do what he was doing in the last season 2, season 3, where he's working with them, but he's still against the vampires and stuff like that.
Protecting the city kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
like you said, Joe is a witch, or she's assumed to be a witch. She never outright said she was a witch. This was
No,
Elena's speculation, and Joe
right,
just didn't say anything. She didn't confirm
right.
it. She didn't
So,
deny it. She just kind of like danced around it. So,
right.
do you think that she's really a witch, or do you think there's more to it?
I think there's more to it because of the whole she can come and go through Mystic Falls. She can do whatever she needs to do, and it doesn't hurt her at all.
Yeah,
I mean, I seriously think that there's something much more to Joe than what they're letting on. I mean, she's obviously hiding something. She blatantly looked at Elena and was like, I know what you are, and I know what a Loric is.
yeah.
No questions asked. Wasn't even provoked to say it. Wasn't given any hints.
So I'm curious if she's just a regular witch, if she may be like Malachi, where he
Mm.
like absorbs witch power and is able to use it, or if maybe she's part of the Gemini Coven,
Maybe she's part of the whole barrier.
the Travelers and stuff. I don't think she's a
Yeah,
traveler.
you never know. I mean, as I said, she is going in and out of that barrier pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't know if the Travelers could have been compelled. I don't remember if they tried.
See?
Yeah, but like,
Because the whole fact that she can't be compelled is huge.
right, and yeah, Elena kind of she's lost her memories and that kind of stuff. But who's to say they can't get Klaus to come and do some kind of reversal? Like
Right,
Alaric isn't the only original out there that can alter the
right,
memories. He's the one that could do it the most easily since he did it in the first place. He could undo it
right.
the easiest. But
But I'm sure if
Elijah,
Klaus,
Klaus,
yeah,
and Rebecca can still do it easily, I
yeah,
think.
I'm sure if Klaus came in and pulled his Mojo Jojo, he could do it easily.
Yeah. Um, There's, Matt was acting a little, I don't know. Like, Matt, I feel, has had a pretty good story arc so far this season, up until, like,
Hmm.
this episode where he's just like, oh, well, I've lost track of which vampires we're supposed to love and which ones we're supposed to hate. And he just, like,
He was,
completely didn't tell them about Enzo. It was like, really?
he's being very pompous.
Yeah, that's the word.
You're welcome.
Or maybe he's just a dick.
Yeah. He's just like, all of a sudden, he just did a complete 180 and he's just a completely different person.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he was justified in not telling them about Enzo, or was he just being a
He knows
dick?
better. He knows better. It's not like Enzo isn't known. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just, I don't know. Matt has really upset me this episode. I've really liked his
Yeah.
character development up to this point.
Until he decided to be a dick.
Yeah. And we're dealing with the girl Sarah living in the Salvatore house. She now knows that Damon and Stefan are vampires, and they live in the house. They just can't get in right now.
And they're her half brothers, aren't they?
Um, half. I don't know if because Uncle Zach was not Stefan and Damon's uncle. Uncle Zach was
Hmm.
their nephew,
Okay.
I think.
She is somehow related to them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. She is somehow related to these two guys who are, she's found out, are vampires.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting because she's going to want to meet them. And Damon's probably not going to be in the mood because of everything that's going on with Elena.
Right. Right. And I mean, Elena I loved how she's very, if I fell in love once, there's got to be something there to do it again.
Right. So
Like, I
she's
loved this
extremely
episode.
apprehensive to even see him face to face this
Right.
episode.
I mean, like, I definitely loved this episode because, I mean, I was so excited when she called Aloric and she was like, I want my compulsion taken away.
Right.
And then 5 minutes later,
I want it
that's
back.
not happening.
Yeah. She's like, I want it back. I want it back. And he can't give it back.
Just before he's gonna do it, she's off trying to save Damon, and he gets hurt.
That's the thing I love about this show so much is you take something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it never crossed my mind that something could happen to Alaric that she wouldn't be able to get the compulsion. Like, I'm good at calling things like that, and that was something that never even crossed my mind whatsoever.
Because he's the one character you can't see something happening to.
Yeah, so, like, being turned human was the last thing that I ever would have thought.
Right, especially since we didn't know that's what would happen.
Right.
We didn't know what would happen if they crossed that border and stayed on the other side.
Yeah. It's really crazy. I'm glad that they went with that direction. I'm glad the show is still able to surprise me, and I think that's what makes me keep coming back for more. Is I can't predict it.
I think right now that's the big thing that I really like about this show over originals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, originals is good, but it's on a completely different level, and it's a different kind of show. It's set in the same universe, but it's a completely different show.
Completely different style, completely different story, and I mean, you know the kind of shows I watch. You know which ones I typically kind of go towards, and Vampire Diaries fits perfectly in there.
Yep. I think the only other thing that I forgot to mention is Caroline. She kind of finally took control of this relationship that she's had with Stefan. Is like, look, I'm done with you. I don't want to be friends anymore, and just walked out. I think that really caught Stefan off guard.
Right.
Caroline was kind of his constant. Like, no matter what he did, Caroline was still there for him. No matter what. Anytime, like, if he relapsed the blood, the Ripper, all this stuff, she was there for him all the time.
After the whole cornfield maze thing, and after all the shit for the past episodes before this one, she's done.
Yep. I don't know. You have anything else to discuss this week?
No, I think we pretty much covered.
I mean, there was a lot that went on, but it's not a whole lot to talk about.
There was.
Ramifications and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a lot. Most of the episode was building up Elena. Sorry, I did it again. Elena and Damon.
Yeah.
I mean, and they did great on that.
Oh my god, they like that acting job, and
at the door, when they're at the door and she puts her hand up and he's like, I can hear you breathing. I've missed how you breathe. Like I was expecting him to just break down the door. And then
Yeah.
he's like, can you either open the door or step back a bit because I'm going to break it down?
Yeah.
He warned her. And that's not Damon that we know.
Like, this is the big, like, fan relationship that everybody's invested in on this show.
Right.
And they're really, like, playing it out. Like, they're tugging on your heartstrings, so to speak. Like, they
are,
really,
and they're doing great.
Yeah, they're stretching it out. They're giving you the run for its money. Like, you're like, really, how long could Damon stay on the, this parallel universe, alternate timeline, whatever it is?
Right.
And
once he's back, how long could she really
stay away and
away? And so they brought him back, and she wanted her memories back, and then they took that entire chunk of possibility away from us.
Right. So that's going to be very, very interesting dynamic, and to see if they can fall in love again without the compulsion.
And after seeing next week's episode preview.
Yeah, I'm curious if they could fall back in love without the compulsion, or if that's going to be, necessary for this to work. But, I mean, I guess we'll see in time.
Because she started seeing that other kid now, right?
Yeah, Liam?
Yeah.
Yeah, she admitted to kissing Liam.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she said that to Stefan, and Stefan's like, yeah, just leave that part out.
Yeah, she said it to Stefan and was like, don't tell Damon that.
Because I foresee Damon killing Liam.
Yeah.
That's going to happen this season.
Yeah.
Almost going to guarantee it.
I'm willing to see it next episode.
Yeah. Anyway, next episode is called Do You Remember the First Time? Which, going along with the trend of every episode title this season, it is a song from the 1990s. Yep. This one is by British rock band Pulp. If you're not familiar with it, go check it out. It says, when the past comes back to haunt her, Elena is forced to face her problems head on. After a night out at the annual Whitmore Medical Center fundraiser, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but as the show goes on, like, every week it's like some other special event, and this is especially prominent in the early seasons. It was like a school dance or a ball or a town picnic or a barbecue. Yeah. There's just so much of it.
Like,
so
they always have some big event. It's like, do you guys ever not party?
I mean, I live in a fairly decent sized town, and there's nowhere near that many events in a year.
Right? I mean, we live in a college town, and we don't even see that many events.
Yeah. So meanwhile, or at the annual fundraiser, Jo opens up to a lark about her own tragic past. So we're going to get some backstory on her, so that's going to be good. Meanwhile, Stefan, Matt, and Enzo resort to extreme measures when Tripp withholds information about his vampire killing operation. And Caroline is in a race against the clock when Sheriff Forbes gets caught in the middle of a dangerous plan. Elsewhere, Tyler and Liv grow closer, and Damon stumbles upon a startling clue that renews his hope. So I think maybe what Damon's stumbling across might have something to do with the border.
Maybe.
And getting Elena's memories back. And I'm already going to say this right now. As soon as they figure out what they're going to do with Elena to get her memories back, that's when the barrier is going to come down.
Yeah. Because Damon, you cannot have it this easy.
No, I'm calling that now.
One step forward, 12 steps back, Damon.
See, this is, like, we mentioned earlier, their acting between their relationship, how amazing, like, they're playing this out to be.
Yeah.
But what you probably don't know is that Ian Somerhalder and Nina Dobrev, Damon and Elena, actually dated in real life.
Oh, did they? And
after last season, broke up, or somewhat mid last season broke up. And it was actually, it's from the way that the celebrity news leaks and all that stuff, it looked like it was pretty tragic. Like, Ian hopelessly, like, wanted her back. She wasn't ready, this, that, and the other thing. He started seeing someone else. She's seeing someone else. She's not seeing someone now. Then he's bringing this new girl to the set, and it's, like, supposedly putting this, like, rift between them and stuff like that. And to see, like, some of these scenes, like, when Damon's just, like, standing at the door, like, holding her hand or whatever, I actually picture that to be, like, genuine Ian, like, wanting her back, and he's actually doing very little acting in this scene because it's literally the girl that he wants, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, there's tons. I mean, look at True Blood
Right.
with Bill and what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember her name anymore. Or
Suki.
you know, yes, Suki. There you go. You know, I mean, look at True Blood. Then look at there's tons of shows that are like that.
Yeah. So, you know, whether or not Damon's going to end up with the girl, that's a whole nother question and has nothing to do with how they're, you know, in their real life. But I feel like they're both able to take some of their personal experience in their personal relationship and carry that over to the small screen. And I think that may help them in a way, help us, you know, as viewers enjoy it more, which... it's kind of weird because that's like this big tragic private moment for them that is now like publicized, you know, so it's
now
kind of a double-edged sword, you know.
Yeah definitely,
but I mean
it's getting them some, but they're doing great.
I think that's it. I think
that would be it.
I don't think we have anything else to discuss here. So Heather, where can people find you?
Twitter at OLARIS_RHEA.
Olaris Rhea, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
See, I got it right that time.
You did get it right that time.
You can find me...
You didn't call me Rachel.
No? Wow. That was on purpose. But
I know.
You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find us and others on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, G+. And right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week. See you guys later.
Bye. Are you playing the music? You're playing the music. Munting.
No.
Yes.
No.